Hi, I'm Emily Martinez. I'm a senior editorial producer on Audible Originals, and I'm here with Beth Macy, author and narrator of Finding Tess. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thanks for having me.
So can we just start with a little backstory?
Sure. We initially thought of this audio documentary as a continuation of my book, Dopesick, which tragically ends with the murder of Tess Henry. Her story really showed how this epidemic spares no one. My goal for the project was to really illuminate where people fall into overdose and death is this cavernous gap between treating people like a moral failure and a criminal and treating them as a patient worthy of medical care. And I think her story illustrates that so well.
That's so true. Can you talk about why you wanted to tell this story in audio? What's different about this experience than Dopesick?
Luckily, I had hours and hours of recording of Tess. So unlike the book, you actually hear Tess's voice. You hear the exchange between her and her mother. It just really pops and comes alive. With audio, you could really bring these scenes so much more to life.
It was December 2015, and Tess hoped that by sharing her struggle, she could help others understand the opioid epidemic.
I don't have a problem talking about it at all, especially if, it could help someone. I'm not ashamed of it. It is what it is, and it happened, and I'll be an addict for the rest of my life.
You will always be in recovery. I mean, that's being an addict. You're always in recovery.
There are really powerful emotional moments where, you can actually hear change happening, right? So for example, at the very end of our trip, we asked Patricia if she wanted to listen to Tess's voice. Do you remember at the time she first said that she wasn't ready to hear her voice? It had been a year since her death, but then just like 15 minutes later, she came back and said, you know what, I'm ready and I want to listen with you both. And I thought that was so magical. She was happy, like she was really, it was nice for her to hear Tess's voice.
She was like, go Tess.
Yeah. It was sad, but it was also a happy moment for us.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that we'll start to take a really hard look at this gap where people fall through, and such that a person like Tess can end up homeless on the streets and end up the way she did at the bottom of the dumpster is just such a example of how in this country we treat people with opioid use disorder.
Jamie Waldrop is the mother of 2 addicted sons who now works to help get people into treatment in Roanoke. She saw firsthand how stigma and shame allowed the epidemic to invade her upper-middle-class neighborhood just down the mountain from Tess's home.
It was so secretive, and so it was like the Dementors in Harry Potter. It was like they just swarmed in and said, I want you, and I want you, and then went on and on and on.
Something that we saw over and over again in this story is that isolation and that kind of abandonment is really dangerous and can lead to death, right?
Exactly. You see her family members who loved her struggle with that, whether or not they should help her, and part of the family saying, no, just let her get to the bottom. And then her mother used to believe that too, and now she's like, yeah, but the bottom has a basement, and the basement has a trap door. And really, we have to keep these people from dying because you can't get better if you're dead. So I'm really hoping it'll bang at that stigma and open hearts and minds to seeing that these people are worthy of care. Hi, I'm Beth Macy, and my Audible original, Finding Tess, A Mother's Search for Answers in a Dopesick America, is available now, only on Audible.